The events of the last 3.5 years have changed the world in ways we never could have imagined. In case you forgot, let's do a quick recap. We had a global pandemic, a global quarantine. We had murder hornets. Do you remember murder hornets? That was like a real thing. We weren't supposed to survive murder hornets. Some of you forgot about murder hornets, but that could be forgiven because 4 weeks later, the government admitted that they had been hiding the existence of UFOs for decades. You may have missed that because the nation was entering into a conversation about race in which we were not prepared. That was followed by protests, spikes in COVID, wave 2 of a pandemic, wildfires in California, sinkholes in Florida, a contested election, and it has not stopped. The world has changed. If you're not sure how much the world has changed, this is me before the pandemic. Same person, completely different. And for many of you, your workplace is the same and yet completely different because it's experienced disruption. And one of the things we know is that the organizations that have done the best during disruptions share one thing in common. They have high employee engagement. And any peer-reviewed research will tell you that the number one driver of employee engagement is an employee's relationship with leadership, especially their direct supervisor. You see, disruption magnifies your weaknesses. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about 3 quick things. Now, they're simple, but they're not easy. But they're things that you can do as leaders to improve your relationships with your employees in a way that will improve engagement. Number 1, treat everyone with dignity and respect. Now, this value has been engraved in me since I was a young child. My father taught it to me. But now, as an entrepreneur and a business owner, I get it. Over the last 3 years, we have surveyed thousands of employees asking them, what do they want in the workplace? And consistently it boiled down to they want to be valued and respected. We have to treat them with dignity and respect. But that's not always easy. So I want all of you to just take a moment, and I want you to picture your favorite employee or your favorite coworker, okay? Just take a moment, picture them. You know, the one you can count on. They're going to get the job done. They have a great attitude. You know what I'm talking about? You got that person in your mind? Okay. Oh, okay, so this is a reminder for me that we have a commercial break. So, quick exercise for everyone. I need you to do exactly what I say. I want you to take your right hand and put it in the air. If you're physically able, right hand, put it in the air. Don't have a lot of time. Let's go. Index finger pointed to the sky. Take that index finger, make a circle. Take that circle, put it on your chin. Now take your left hand, and before you do anything else, your chin is down here. You know that, right? Not here, here. And some of you went like this and slid it down. You need some help, and some of you need to be drug tested. That's a different workshop, okay? But here's the reality. You heard me say something, and you heard me see something, and when they were in conflict, you went with what you saw. Commercial break over. Go back to that favorite employee. You know who they are, right? And so does everyone else at work. They know who the favorite is. You don't have to say it. They can see it. And they know where they are in the pecking order. And so what I'm saying is, we can't treat people with dignity and respect in a way that's conditional. It has to become universal. I heard a minister say one time at a wedding, he said, love your spouse the most when they deserve it the least. And I'll just let that one sit there. Now, to take it to number 2, I have to bring you back to a time which I first was promoted to supervisor. And my mentor found out, and he called me, and he said, Tony, congratulations. You just lost the luxury of having a bad day. I had never thought of anything like that. I never considered having a bad day as a luxury. But when you're a leader, it's not something you can have. You can have bad moments, but bad days, you can't afford that. And that's not always easy because we have bad days. You want me to tell you about yesterday, my travels to get here? No, you don't. You know why? Because you don't care. You don't care about my flight. You don't care about my Uber ride or my hotel. Here's what you care about. You want me to show up and be professional. You're going to have a great experience, and you're hoping to get some tools and strategies that will make you more successful, right? And that's what your people care about. They want you to be professional, they want a great experience, and they want some tools and strategies that will make them more effective. Because as a leader, you are not a thermometer. You're a thermostat. And I'm sorry, just in the same way that yawning makes people want to yawn, it's called yawn contagion. When you smile, when you're positive, it's been shown that there's an emotional contagion. And you can change the energy of the room by your very presence. And James Hartman with Gallup has shown you can predict the effectiveness of sales teams simply based on their emotional state. So you have to have a positive, enthusiastic attitude. And for number 3, we need to harness the power of praise and recognition. Now, okay, let's get real for a minute. Here's how most workplaces work. You have about a third of the employees who are high performers. They're crankers, right? They get things done. Then you have another third they're kind of middle of the road, and you have a third that could use a good kick in the butt, right? That's kind of how it normally goes. So we rely on that top third. We give them more to do. They can handle it. Wait a second, let me say that in case you missed it. The reward for being a high performer is more work. And if that's all they get, they'll learn and figure out and they will adjust. I was doing work for a mechanical engineering firm, and there was a new employee who came in. He was a temporary. He's trying to become permanent. And so, he learned his little orientation, figured out what to do. They put him in the repair shop. And then after the crowds dissipated, I watched him. He's cranking. He's working. He's trying to impress people. And after a few hours, I watched his team lead walk over to him and say, slow down. Now, initially I thought, oh my gosh, he's right, because these are some delicate pieces of equipment, but that's not what he was saying. He said, look over there. There's 6 racks of equipment that we need to repair. The faster you fix this, the faster they show up there. So, slow down. His team lead slowed him down and made him less productive, and he thought he was doing him a favor. If the only thing that high productive people get is more work, we're in trouble. So we have to combine it with praise and recognition. We have to find some way to reward them when they do well. O.C. Tanner, after surveying 200,000 people, said that 78% of employees who receive consistent praise and recognition are highly engaged. Compare that with the 34% of the U.S. population that's engaged, and you will see the difference. Gallup estimates that in 2022, disengaged employees cost the U.S. economy $500 billion in 1 year. But that's big, and that may not be fully relatable to you, so let me break it down for you so you'll understand it. They said it's for each of us in our businesses. For every $10,000 we pay in salary, we lose $3,400 to disengagement. That is the power of what we're talking about. But here's the thing. If we treat everyone with dignity and respect, have a positive attitude, and understand the power of praise, then people will feel valued and respected. They'll begin to shine, and when they shine, they'll light up your culture. Now, one last thing, if you're not sure that as a leader, you're making people feel valued and respected, ask yourself, how do you do on the smile test? Do your employees smile when they see you coming? Or do they smile when they see that you're leaving? The choice is yours, but the power is also in your hand. Thank you.